But I think when you have the right people, you always find good people. So we have a great team, but I know Rona is special. So.
Okay, so let's give it a moment. Welcome to the Pursuit of Progress. My name is Lenora. I am really excited to be here because I'm a person who has gone through different transitions in my life, as I'm sure you have, and even the people I'm bringing on for the show. I have gone from being an MC. Once upon a time, I've done bikini bodybuilding. I have gone into content creation, and now a new phase of my life, which is motherhood. As I said before in the previous episode, this is something very new. And one of the things that has always fascinated me is how people adapt and grow with every facet of their life, every single experience and phase. It's literally seeking the pursuit of progress. Sense, which is why I want to say, I hope you are all ready to pop, because we are going to dive into the pursuit of progress, and I'm excited to share my next guest with you. Let me see how I can introduce her extremely well, okay? I've introduced her multiple times on different stages. She is a walking legend, a trailblazer, one of the greatest athletes in Malaysia that Malaysia has ever produced. She's held the world #1 squash ranking for an unprecedented 9 years. 8-time world champion, a true icon in global sports. And I wish that we could have like a sound effect where it goes like, clap, 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 clap. Please welcome to the show, Datuk Nicole David.
Oh, thank you, Lenora, for that great introduction.
I hope it.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, you can see like that's also another reason to pop my little belly.
Literally pop.
Literally pop. Not yet.
Oh, no.
We're saving that.
Okay.
Let's start off first for everyone knows you, but real briefly. I'm not going to say what was your childhood like. I would ask you this question instead. If you could sum up your childhood in a song.
In a song?
Yeah. What would that theme song be like?
It would definitely have an R&B background. Ooh. More so like a Missy Elliott feel, because she was a really up and coming at the time. It was in the Pisa Arena.
Okay.
And it was filled by 3,000 or 4,000 people, and they drove us in by cars, and I secretly gave my CD at the time.
Okay.
To the audio guy, and he played it, and it was blasting throughout the stadium, and I went in a car with the Malaysian flag out.
Okay.
And all that I can remember was that moment, and it just pumped me up to win that title.
What song was it?
It's Get Your Freak On.
Oh my gosh, of course. Can you still sing it?
I know. No, I just like the yeah.
I have to ask, I mean, like, you've been asked so many times about your childhood and whatnot. Just let's touch briefly during your time as pro, right? What was that transition like from going as teenage life and then into a pro athlete life? How did it affect your mind?
It was a big change because I had a loss in the Asian Games, and I was expected to win my second gold medal, and I lost in the finals, and it was a huge thing where it was in the press, everything was like, Nicole has failed, and it hit really hard. So I took a bit of time off to really reflect on what I needed to do, and I went to New Zealand and stayed with my family there. I have some family there, and just to be away from everything and to really think about what I really want. Do I really want to stay in squash because I love it so much, or it's just I don't need it? I just need to just move on and do something else. And that moment when I was away took me to a very spot that I needed to find, and that was I still love this game so much. I just needed to get over the loss and then just be ready to move out of the country and work with my coach. And I was 18 years old at the time. I came back to Malaysia and I told my parents I'm gonna go to Amsterdam and train with my coach Liz Irving. She's a former world champion for Australia.
Yeah, and your full-time
mentor. And my full-time mentor, amazing woman, and great friend. And she took me on, so since then, I think I needed to train with the best and to be the best. And that was that breaking point where I had to break everything from scratch. She told me that you needed to find a way to just start from zero, and we start building you up
So
again.
resetting the whole thing.
Completely.
Okay.
Even though you are a great junior player, but we have all these other areas that you are kind of limited, and now top players know how you're gonna play. They know what you're gonna do on a top 10 level. They all know exactly how your game plan is gonna be. So we have to work on your technique. We have to make sure you are ready for the pressure. So we have to build you up, get stronger, get fitter, and also your your mind has to be ready for the pressure that's coming. So yeah.
Can we talk about that? Because you said that in other interviews, you said that the pressure was something you had to learn how to handle at such a young age. Can we talk of how did you find ways in handling it? Like if you have tips or like 2 ways, anything that made you go like, okay, this is pressure. I know I can handle it. How do you do it?
I was fortunate that I had a mental trainer when I was in the national team. So I was in the Camp Jaya 98 team in Malaysia, and at 12 years old, I had all these assistants, like a sports psychologist, which is a mental trainer, to coach us how to turn negative to positive, how to visualize, to put goal setting, and all these learnings I've taken on board when I was 12. But maybe most athletes might think, oh, let me focus on my training, and then all those things might come later when I'm a professional.
It doesn't work that way.
But I knew that if I added this in my training, I would be a better player. So why not practice visualization from 12 years old?
So that's one tool.
Yeah. So I visualize my game. I think of a perfect game that I'm going to play. And then if I'm playing someone, I will visualize who I'm playing with. And then every point, every rally, I will go through it probably the night before or the morning of my match. And also during training. So you can't wait till the matches happen. You have to do the training of your mind a few weeks before.
Okay.
So it's like your body. If you're training for like an endurance workout or like, for your weightlift, like your bodybuilding, you need to have a plan, and your mental training is also a plan. So you need to prepare for that. So I was doing that since I was young. And when it comes to competition, I know how to then start preparing. When do I turn this to a positive? If something negative comes in on the spot, I have to be aware. I have to just replace it with something good or something that will just change my mind to focusing on something positive again.
Don't mind me asking, what's a typical negative trigger that you used to face on the court that you immediately like, okay, I caught that, now I'm going to change it into positive?
So I will have like 5 trigger words or maybe a few more in my bag, to just get me going. So if I'm feeling that, I'm down, I'm losing, just focus on the next, or I say like just the next point, or, think of a good return, or get like stand tall, like keep pushing forward. All these things comes in different moments. So I'll have these words just to get me back on track, or think of that next point. Okay, that point is over. Think of that next point. Replay my shot again. If I hit a mistake, just replay that shot in my head visually, so that I know it was actually a good shot, and I just go for the next one. So these things, you have to practice it in your training and do simulation matches, and then go into your competition knowing that in that very split moment, you can change it round.
Okay.
So yeah.
This actually ties in because in another interview you said that squash has 5 dimensions.
Yeah.
Which is, let me try and remember. There was skill, agility, tactical, strategy, and then there's one more, which I assume is adaptability. Would that be right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think squash you have to cover all aspects. So you have to be skillfully like ready and sound. You have to have a strategic mind, right, where your tactics of the game is so clear for each player. And then, you say agility, you have to move well, be quick, fast, back and forth, because squash is all about moving around your opponent, Oh, that's kicking.
Yes, little one is kicking right now. I think
agility
exactly.
is,
Little one's like, yes, I totally get this. Okay, bye big. Sorry. Okay.
Adaptability, knowing when your player is changing a game plan, know how to change, have a few game plans ready. So when I was younger in a junior level, I only had one game only. So I needed to know how to be attacking, how to be defensive, and not just have one game, one style. So those adaptability skills also you need to have. And like you said, strength, like you have to have a strong body and strong mind.
What was your mentality? What was your mentality like when you had to maintain being world number one? Tell us about the pressures and how did you say it's okay, just let me play my game. Yeah.
At some moment after a few years, then I needed to get a sports psychologist in Amsterdam to really help me to handle that intensity of the pressure that keeps mounting each year as you get to world number one.
Don't mind me asking, like, so for every year, because it was 9 years that you were holding that, what kind of different pressures happened at each, I want to ask like each year, but let's go like summarize it. What happened that was the biggest pressure that you felt?
The expectation of winning every single match.
From people or from yourself?
From all around. Okay. So it will be from myself, but also from people around, from just the fact that I am the number one on that list, and everybody that goes in has no pressure. They just go, oh, whatever happens, if I lose to her, that's great, but she has to win, right? So I just give it my all. So I had to be on my game all the time, and that was the pressure that kept happening as years went on. It felt good being on top. Of course, it feels great that you start beating people and you have a space where that confidence just pulls you through and that momentum pulls you through when you win in a row. But the minute you lose something, it kind of, you go like, I can't lose, what's this happening? So those learning experiences were hard to take at the time, the losing experiences, but it was a very big learning for me to keep getting myself up there. And it's also different players that I used to play. So I had different contenders during that 9 years where I needed to play different players. So you had to deal with different characters, different style of games. How am I going to handle different people at that very moment? So yeah, it's just about, and also then I'm also growing up and learning more about my emotions. Hence, that all comes into play as well.
I can't help but think, like the movie Inside Out, where all those emotions are playing.
You grow.
So how do you handle emotions? Because emotion is such a big navigator for where we go and all that. Like, was there a point that you were so mad on the court or something off the court that, I won't say affected your game, but it affected your gameplay? How did you come out of that?
I didn't get many moments like that. Some days are harder than others, but you just keep fighting to make sure you play at your very best and not show those emotions on court. So I never show anything. I think if you show it,
if I remember when I see you, you don't show. You're like so serious and focused.
Because I know for a fact that if you show it, you are showing signs of weakness, and then your opponent already can feel that you're not playing well or you're distracted. So the minute you show that, or they show it to me, I can automatically know that I'm going to attack you even more now.
Gosh.
So that's where squash is so great, because you are amongst your opponent really like side by side, and you feel the intensity of the energy, and the moment someone's feeling stressed or not feeling good, you just instantly have to take that opportunity. It's a small window.
Wow.
And you need to address it straight away. And then that's where they start breaking.
You're like a predator, or like a hunter,
I was just like willing to go out there and ruthless all the way. If I have to, I will. So.
Wow. Now let's progress from there, because now I want to talk a bit more current.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone has asked you about your retirement.
Yeah.
But okay, you retired like a couple of years.
Almost 6 years now.
Okay, time flies.
Time flies, yes. I know.
Really flies.
Yeah, it's gone by like this, but it's a good feeling.
I still feel like as if you retired not too long ago.
Yeah.
My goodness. Okay, so when you decided to retire, I remember watching in one interview, you said that you never asked yourself that honest question
Yeah.
until your coach posed it to you, right?
Yes, scary.
So can you tell of that moment when, all right, you finally accepted that this could be it? You're done. What was the visual that happened there? Was it at a hotel room? Was it at the home?
It was actually in a hotel room at the tournament itself where we had the discussion, and then after that I went back after my discussion with my coach Liz, and then when I went back it was really so surreal. I had dinner and then I went back and it was just like, wow, I finally realized that this is it for me. And
Was it
basically
hard?
it just felt like you see forward and it looks like a black space, and you go, what's gonna happen, and then you just go, there's no squash. Is this really gonna happen in 2 years? And that's when everything, like the floodgates open, and I was just crying and really felt like a heartbreak from the fact that I'm gonna lose all of this on that moment. So it was interesting. But then I was still playing, but then I was starting to make plans. So the minute I started to make some plans and think about my future, what am I gonna do, those questions became quite real, and then I had to make some steps, and I started planning for my future in terms of how am I gonna retire, how is it gonna look like. So I need to make a plan on how the retirement is, and then so making campaigns, and then also my foundation. So what am I gonna do for my own foundation? Is it gonna be with squash? It's like definitely with squash. And is it with kids? Yes, for sure. So all those things are ticked. And then what? So I needed to find good friends to help me out. And so at the time I was training in Colombia, and then Mariana, now my co-founder.
Yes, I remember Mariana. She's a joy.
She's great. A former squash player. So we've known each other way back. So she's been in corporate for 10, 11 years. And I told her that I'm in Colombia, let's catch up. And I'm telling her about my retirement, and thinking I don't think I know what to do with it. And it's going to be very difficult to retire and not know or have skills. And she's like, of course you have skills. Like, you're a number one squash player in the world. Like, what do you think you don't have skills for? Use that and bring it forward. And I was like, okay, but how? And she guided me in like to structure things, gave me tips and ideas. And that's where I went, you know what? Like, I need someone like you to help me to set things up. So
To structure everything.
Yeah.
For you, right?
So let's work together. Just leave your job and then come and work
You
with
told
me.
her to leave everything behind.
Well, I just asked politely, and she's like, oh, well, actually at this point in time, I feel like doing something different, so why not? So hence, 2.5 years later, we're having the Nicole David Organization. But then it was 1 year of planning, of just letting go of squash and enjoying squash. But I had to get training. I had to learn how to do it, how to use the pointer, all those things. No, but and then how to structure, how to tell the story, and all those things really was part of the learning. And when you kind of go into you're opening something new and learning and opening your mind to possibilities, that's when squash faded. And I could let go a little bit easier. It didn't seem like I was stuck with it for eternity. So that was a great year, the last year of just letting it go. And at the very moment I said goodbye, when my last match, I was happy.
It was more relief, you could say. Was it relief?
It was a relief that I've done everything I could with squash. I don't have anything left to show. I've already achieved all that I've achieved. I don't need to make a point that there's more to do. I've done all that I could do, and even more than my expectations. So why not leave on a high?
Yeah. When you say make a point, is the point that time when you did all that, is it proving to yourself, to parents, to friends, family? What was it that you felt like you wanted to prove? You could say you've already made a point.
Yeah. more to myself. I think when you start losing and then you don't have that edge anymore. So you always think that edge will always stay with you. But if you've done it for 9 years at the top, something is gonna give. I definitely broke inside somewhere, and my mind cannot be at that level of concentration and intensity for so long. At some point, it's gonna burn. So
you're not a robot.
Yeah. And so then I had to let emotions come in, because when you're on that court, like I said, switch the button, no emotions. Nothing can come in. But then the minute I went, okay, I'm gonna start letting things come in, then it's like,
the floodgates just open.
Yeah, it just keeps coming. Like, just so you know. But it was but it has to be done. If not, when?
Correct.
So I'm so thankful that now that transition all went in just fine. The minute I finished, I was so happy. I could wake up and not think, oh, I don't need to train. I don't have a schedule. I can just be not stiff free. Like I don't have to have a stiff body all the time.
So now, when you mentioned there were 5 dimensions, how? And you also said that you told to Mariana, right? Mariana, that you said that you don't have the skills, and she said no, you do have the skills. So how were you able to translate the 5 dimensions of squash into real, so-called real world life?
Absolutely. And I didn't think of it at the time, but I was pleasantly surprised that I do have a lot of skills with all the years that I've been playing, and it comes with having social skills, the key things, because you need to network, you need to meet a lot of people, and I'm meeting so much more people now than I ever have before, because now running my foundation, and we have now, just to share a little bit first.
Yes, please.
The Nicole David Organization have now 2 pillars. We have actually the children's program, where we give an after-school program for low-income, mid to low-income kids, squash training and English classes, and that will take them through from standard 2 up to standard 6. So It's like a 5-year program, and so that we have about 130 kids now in the program for the last 2.5 years. So we are really happy and grateful that we've seen them grow to be confident kids just from playing sport, learning English, and now they are more disciplined, they're more focused, and that's what the values of squash brings for these kids, because I know for a fact that gives me all these values for life. And then last year we launched the Mother's Pillar. It's called so the kids pillar is Little Legends, and then the Mother's Pillar is called Ibu Legends. It's been very fulfilling in terms of getting to know the moms better, and we are offering mental health workshops, parenting workshops, nutrition workshops, and to give them a sense of understanding about their own self-care, to look after themselves first before they start doing anything else. They have to take care of themselves, because if you are taking care of your family, moms never look after themselves.
I understand that, because when I see it, a lot of times the moms forget about themselves.
Of course, like the first thing you go is like my kids first, my husband, everyone first except me. So, and then we give free medical checkups so that and probably like 50% of them have never done a full medical checkup in their lives. So that was very like, wow, we need to do more of this. And we have our first cohort. So we do according to the cohorts that we have. We have 3 cohorts for our kids. So we started with our cohort 1 moms of the kids. So we're helping the mothers so that we can look after the ecosystem around the kids.
Yeah.
So why not start with the moms, and then we'll start going to the dads this year.
Okay, so it's going to be dad legends.
Yeah, it will be Bapak legends. I think.
Okay, Papa legends.
That will come in later this year. That will we'll introduce more sport there. And then we also want to and then in the second phase for the Ibu Legends program, we want to help them with their financial education. And for those who want to do a bit more in entrepreneurship, we'll give them courses for that, and we'll take them through how to build their own own company or be more
Or
entrepreneurs.
like a startup or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really good.
So that's where we are at right now in terms of the Nicole David Organization. And it's the most fulfilling feeling I feel that brings me the best happiness.
Before like world champion
Yeah.
and holding that ranking #1 was the goal. How about now? What is your goal for life? Like say, let's break it down in the next
3 to
5 years.
Yeah.
3 to 5 years.
I think the next goal for us, we are going to have reach out to schools now and reach out to as many kids to play sport. So looking after their PE. We want to give them more physical education or getting more active in school. So we want to bring our program to schools. And that will be our big program this year. And if we do that, my 5-year projection, hopefully we want to impact 10,000 people, 10,000 kids, families, and that will be my ultimate dream.
We all say that you are made up of the 5 people that you hang out with. So during the time when you were doing squash,
Yeah.
can you name who were your 5 people? Obviously, that's your coach.
Yeah.
And then who the other 4?
With my squash, it was my coach, my physio, Ronald Fovell, who has passed, but he was the ultimate person and soul. Yes, yeah. Frank, which is my sports psychologist, and Maurice, another physio, good friend as well. And then last one is like I say family. So yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we get a tissue?
It's okay.
Don't mind me asking, because like the 5 people that really support you is always the one that how would you say, that's the one that builds you. I'm sure those people have built you.
Yeah.
So how about now? The reason I asked is because when you transition out, now you have to reevaluate who are the 5 people again. Do you mind sharing? Like, how did you pick your 5 people? You don't have to say the names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but how did you pick who were going to be right for you coming out?
I think I definitely will have a 6th person in this one, the 5, because I think that was the middle person, which is Mariana, to combine when I was in squash to how I'm transitioning here. So I think I would have her in the 5 of even in my squash journey, and then my family will always be next to me. But I think when you have the right people, you always find good people. When you're ready to be positive for everyone, positive people will come. So we have a great team. Our staff in NDO is great, but I know, Ronald is special. So.
Okay, so let's give it a moment. Yeah. So coming back, right, Nicole?
Yeah.
How would you? Because this is also for people to learn how they can use the tools that you've used for yourself.
Yeah.
What would you say are the characteristics that you would look out for when you want to have a close knit group to you?
I think it starts from you first, personally, in the sense of your own, whether you're very clear with your own values and what you're looking for yourself in terms of how you want to be good to others and like being positive, being encouraging. And I had that with my family, having a positive environment. I had that with my team. And then now I have that in my own workplace in NDO. And that's the environment we want to create. Then the culture that everyone's in that positive environment, everyone's encouraging each other, and that translates in so many forms. So different people, whether it's the kids, the families, sponsors, people that want to come in and help, support, that's where it starts from you. And I feel like if you give that energy and that positive reinforcement to all that's around you, you get that in return.
Is it hard to find, because obviously you're a leader, so what would you say is the one thing you tell yourself when you want to lead others?
I tell myself that I want to represent what I preach. So anything I say to them is going to be exactly what I would do in their if they in their place. So if I want our kids to grow up good kids, they have to be the leaders for the kids as well. So I have to also be that for my staff and that in return for the kids.
Okay.
So that is the whole way of how we work in NDO, and it's a great environment, and we call it the happy place after school, and that's what we want to keep as long as possible.
I love how you're calling it NDO because I'm so used to hearing NGO.
Yeah.
And then I'm like NDO.
NDO,
okay.
yes. It's an NGO, but it's called NDO. Yes.
What scares a person more for you? Would it be failure or would it be success?
For me, it's failure because I don't like losing.
Okay.
Success is only going to open up more opportunities for me. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've heard so many different versions. I wanted to ask, what was yours when you say you're scared of failure? Is just because you don't like losing? That's the main thing.
But I do know that it's part of the process to be successful. So I know failure is part of the problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Part of a good problem.
Part of a good problem to success.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you tell aspiring athletes? I want to say athletes who are current right now, and then say one day when they have to retire. What would your advice be?
I would say to be honest on that moment when you still feel that you maybe have that bit left to give, but then a bigger part of you is saying that it's time to stop, to hear it more deeply, and to be a bit honest and asking that question, is this time? And when that happens, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to feel like it's gonna you feel lost. Always talk about it. Talk to your friends, to people that are close to you, and then have that process of 2 years to really like give yourself a chance to play the sport, enjoy it, go through the emotions, and then but plan. So don't think about it and go, okay, it's time. Just give yourself a chance to play or go into that 1 year and start planning some things for yourself. Because the moment you go, okay, I'm done, is when you really are depleted. Is when you really have nothing left, and that time is harder to plan things because you might be still on a low point, because you have to deal with emotions. So take things a bit earlier. It's not difficult. It's not bad to say that there is a chance of that happening. It's just being honest. So
being honest with yourself, not in denial that it's going to happen one day.
Yeah, take that time to make some plans and preparations, and then it slowly, gradually will help you through your retirement.
Okay, Nicole, I want to say thank you so much for coming on to The Pursuit of Progress. I hope everyone had time to pop and get all this information and insights on how they can also use the tools that you mentioned into their life. Again, thank you so much for putting us on the map. Thank you for giving us all your energy and everything and where you're at. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in 3-5 years, and we'll look out for Papa Legends, right?
Papa Legends maybe. Okay. To come.
If people want to find out more about NDO, where can they go? Well,
they can go to our Instagram page as Nicole David Organization, or they can go on our website, the Nicole David Organization.org, and we are on LinkedIn as well. So just check us out. We are always updating all our exciting activities, and a lot coming our way.
And now she's got the tools of how to do a killer presentation.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being with us on The Pursuit of Progress. It's me, Lenora, and we'll see you in the next episode. Don't miss out.